The story is about Mio, a girl who has lost the confidence to stay alive. Once so cheerful and energetic girl she was, now has become soulless. Accepting happiness is never meant for her. In a world where the power of supernatural abilities dictates the rankings of families, Mio was born without any. Her father, when came to know about it, refused to accept her as his daughter, no matter how much Mio's mother begged him. After Mio lost her mother at a very young age, she never really experienced what true love is. Her father immediately married another woman, with whom he had a girl who possessed supernatural abilities. After this, everything starts to crumble for Mio. She lost her place in her own house and became a servant. On one side, Mio's stepsister, Kaya, was attending school and buying new kimonos. On the other side, Mio wasn't allowed to attend school or buy anything for herself. Every day she worked as a slave for hours and hours, continuously being scolded and abused by her stepmother, Kanoko. And the worst that could happen to Mio in all of this was to take away the last remaining memories of her mother. Anything that reminded Mio of her mother was taken away from her. Clothes, accessories, and even the cherry blossom tree. In all of this, Mio's father neither helped her, nor stopped the abuse. As years pass by, Mio accepts her fate as someone who never deserves any happiness. One day in the afternoon, a guest named Minoru Tatsushi visits the mansion to have a talk with Mio's father, Shin Saimori. Soon after, the servants start gossiping that the reason for his visit must be about his son's marriage. As Mio is already 19 years old, they wonder if it's for her. Mio happens to hear it. She starts thinking about it. Just then, Koji, Minoru's second son, comes. Mio is happy to see him. It's because, unlike others, Koji is kind towards her. He knows how Mio is treated in her house and tries his best to cheer her up from time to time. At night, strangely, Mio is told by her father to stay home tomorrow during the day. Mio is surprised to hear it. It's because, unlike Kaya, she isn't allowed to leave the house, so she is always at home. The following day, while Mio is busy cleaning, Koji visits the mansion. Mio is happy to see him and asks the reason for his visit. Koji is invited by Shin to discuss an important matter. Before heading inside, Koji gives Mio some sweets. Soon it starts to rain. Mio is called up by her father, so she goes in. On her way, she can't help but think of the possibility of a marriage proposal for her. Mio knows she shouldn't get her hopes high. But on thinking how yesterday Minoru uncle had a visit, after which her father specifically told her to stay home, and now Koji coming to have a talk, she believes it's a marriage proposal. As she arrives in front of the door, Mio's heart starts to beat rapidly. She enters the room, after which, Shin announces the arranged marriage of Koji with Kaya. He will marry into the Saimori family and take over it. The little happiness Mio had completely shatters. Shin proceeds to announce that there is another marriage proposal from Kudo's family. And it's for Mio to marry Kyoka Kudo. On hearing the name, Kaya is very happy to know it. It's because Kyoka Kudo is a pretty famous person for having a cruel personality, because of which all of his fiancées have run away. As Mio tries to say something, Shin shuts her up. He wants Mio to leave tomorrow with all of her belongings. Mio doesn't say anything further and leaves. Koji is miserable as well as confused to know the man Mio is marrying is not his brother. Yesterday, he came to know that he would be marrying Kaya, and his older brother, Kazushi, would be marrying Mio. Their father intends to make Koji take over Saimori's business and his first son, Kazushi, take over his business. Koji tried refusing, he should be the one marrying Mio, but Minoru convinced him that it was all for Mio's happiness. Back in the present, for the very last time, Mio visits the cherry blossom tree. As she will not be able to visit her mother again, Mio is bidding her the last goodbye. The following day, she starts packing her belongings. A house servant gives Mio some rice balls to eat on her way. Before taking her leave, she tells Mio to take care of her. Mio thanks her for the kind words. After packing, for the very last time, she looks at her house and all of the memories she had experienced start appearing in front of her. Mio gets on the train and heads towards a new chapter in her life. After half an hour of traveling, Mio arrives at the place where the Kudo family resides. Upon knocking on the door, a servant named Yuri greets her. Yuri with excitement takes Mio to the room where Kyoka is. After entering, Mio bows down and greets him. But even after seconds when she doesn't lift her head, Kyoka asks until when she is planning to stay in that position. Mio immediately apologizes for it. As she lifts her head, the moment Mio looks at Kyoka, she is enchanted by his beauty. Kyoka makes it clear that he doesn't need any apologies. He wants her to do exactly what he says. If he tells her to leave, she will leave. If he tells her to die, she will die. Mio respectfully agrees and asks if there is anything else. Kyoka is surprised to hear it. Afterwards, Mio is taken to her room. At night, while lying on the futon, Mio believes the reason Kyoka sent the marriage proposal is because he believes she has supernatural abilities just like Kaya, which is far from the truth. The following day, she wakes up and starts the day by preparing the breakfast. Mio wants to prove her usefulness, and what's a better way than to make a delicious breakfast? After preparing it, she presents it in front of Kyoka. On knowing it's Mio who made it, he tells her to eat it first. Mio shows her hesitation. And as a result, Kyoka is quick to understand that food is poisonous. Without eating it, he leaves for his work. And just like that, Mio's good intention completely shatters. Kyoka Kudo is the captain of the Special Anti-Grotesquerie Unit. Grotesquerie are vengeful spirits that attack people by cursing them. And here, those people who possess supernatural abilities work and train under Kyoka to get rid of these bad spirits and protect the people. In his room, Kyoka is thinking about how for the very first time, Yuri defended someone and praised her hard work. At night when he arrives, Mio greets him and apologizes for overstepping her position earlier this morning. She should have known that a man of his status would never eat food made by someone he doesn't trust. And that's why for the dinner, it's Yuri who made it. Kyoka, while eating, asks Mio if she ate the dinner. Mio refuses as she doesn't have any appetite. Kyoka doesn't say anything, and proceeds to go for a bath. Mio requests to prepare the bath, but Kyoka refuses, as it would be quicker for him to heat the water with his powers. Mio is depressed to know a person who doesn't have any ability is not even useful to prepare a bath. After the bath, Kyoka apologizes for not eating the breakfast she made. Yuri will come late tomorrow, so he wants her to make the breakfast. Before leaving, he tells her to have a bath as he has heated the water. Mio is grateful for this opportunity. She promises herself to do her best to make sure she doesn't mess up. The following day, while preparing breakfast, Mio is surprised to see Yuri has come at the same time she usually does. On knowing what Kyoka said, Yuri laughs and tells Mio it's just his way of wanting to eat her breakfast. Afterwards, with a little bit of Yuri's help, Mio prepares the breakfast. After presenting it, Kyoka eats it and finds it delicious. Mio is emotional to hear it. After all, it's the first time anyone has praised her. After breakfast, while Mio is busy cleaning the dishes, Kyoka is in deep thought. He wonders why a daughter from such a prominent family wears clothes so bad that can't even be called old. Her body looks so delicate as if she didn't have any proper meal, and her hands are so worn out, as if she had spent her life working as a slave. Kyoka decides to dig further into Mio's background. Before leaving for work, he tells Yuri to take care of Mio. Yuri is happy to see for the first time, Kyoka has shown interest in his fiancée. But Kyoka refuses he isn't interested. It's just that, unlike other fiancés, he doesn't see Mio as a woman who is after his wealth and status. On the other side in Saimori's mansion, Minoru is furious at Shin for breaking the promise by letting Mio engage with Kyoka Kudo. Mio's mother, Sumi, is from Yusuba's family, which possessed the most powerful supernatural abilities. And even though Mio doesn't possess any ability, Minoru wants his eldest son to have children with Mio, so that his family can get a hold of Yusuba's abilities. However, on seeing she is engaged with Kyoka Kudo, he is freaking out. Because Kyoka is already very powerful. And if he marries Mio, then no family can overpower them. Shin tells Minoru that before making the promise, he had received the offer from Kudo's family, which he couldn't refuse. But the reason he still made the promise is because he knows his daughter is worthless. And once Kyoka finds out she doesn't have any abilities, he will kick her out. And then Minoru can have her. As of now, there is nothing Minoru can do but wait. At night, Kyoka asks Mio if she would like to go to the town with him tomorrow. But Mio refuses, as she doesn't want to cause any trouble for him. Kyoka assures her everything will be fine. So after persuasion, Mio finally agrees, not realizing she is going on her first ever date. The next day, Mio starts getting ready. With Yuri's persuasion, for the first time, Mio agrees to put on the makeup. After some time when it's done, she is looking gorgeous. The moment Kyoka sees Mio, he gets lost in her beauty. After coming back to his senses, they get in the car and first head to his workplace to park the car. After parking it, Goto, Kyoka's subordinate, greets them. He is well versed with Kyoka's reputation for rejecting girls, so on seeing Mio, he starts teasing Kyoka by asking who this beautiful woman might be. Kyoka with a pissed look tells Goto to not pry into others' private life and get back on his duty. Goto immediately salutes and takes his leave. After they arrive in the town, it's Mio's first time outside and she is immersed in the beauty. But on realizing she was totally lost in the beauty, she immediately apologizes. Kyoka doesn't like how Mio apologizes for every little thing. He wants her to enjoy the scenery freely without any worry. He puts his hand on her head and tells her that no one has the right to stop her from enjoying what she wants. As they resume their walk, Mio asks herself, how can such a kind person be rumored to be a cruel man? After some time, they arrive at a garments shop. For decades, Kyoka's family has been loyal customers of this shop. While Mio is busy admiring the kimono, the store lady congratulates Kyoka for finally finding himself a partner. Because it's the first woman he has brought here. The reason Kyoka has come to this shop is because he wants to gift Mio a kimono. After he heard from Yuri about Mio's clothes condition so bad that she had to stitch them every day, he has decided to give her a little present. Kyoka notices a fabric. On imagining how it would look on Mio, he finds it perfect and selects it. Afterwards, the store lady gives him a box which Kyoka had requested in advance. Before he leaves, the store lady tells him to never let go of Mio. She is a diamond that he won't find anywhere, and because of it, he must treasure her and give her happiness. Kyoka understands it. From there they head to a shop where Mio eats a sweet dish. Kyoka mentions to Mio he hasn't seen her smile. Mio immediately apologizes. Kyoka assures he isn't accusing her. He just wants to see her smile at least a little. Mio with a soft tone tells him that he has a strange personality. But on realizing she said something rude, she immediately apologizes. Kyoka assures her he isn't angry. If things go as smoothly as they are, they will soon marry. But before that, he wants to understand her. And for that, she must express her true emotions. On hearing about marriage, Mio is devastated to realize that once Kyoka finds out she doesn't have any ability, he will cancel this engagement. She wants to tell him. But before that, she wants to spend as much time with him. At night, while Mio is taking a bath, Kyoka puts the same box that the store lady gave him in front of Mio's room. Yuri happens to see it. On knowing it's a comb, she is very happy. Because gifting a comb signifies a marriage proposal. Kyoka assures Yuri that's not his intention. It's just a gift. After some time, Mio on way to her room sees the box and picks it up. On seeing it's a comb, she rushes to Kyoka. On confirming he didn't drop it by mistake, she respectfully refuses to accept it. It's too expensive for someone like her. Kyoka makes it clear he doesn't want to hear anything. It's her gift and he wants her to use it. He looks at Mio and finally sees her smile. Mio is emotional. She promises she will treasure it. The next day at work, the person whom Kyoka told to investigate Mio's background reveals that Shinsai Mori and Kanoko were lovers. However, Shin was forced by his father to marry Mio's mother for political reasons. The informant further shares about Mio not possessing any supernatural abilities. Because of this, Shin's attitude toward Mio completely changed. And after Kanoko joined the family, Mio's condition became worse and she was treated like a servant. And lastly, the informant shares that Mio's mother, Sumi, is actually from the Yusuba family. On hearing this, Kyoka is surprised. It's because Yusuba's family is very famous for having the strongest supernatural abilities. The following day, Mio also decides to give Kyoka something. But she doesn't have a big budget, so she asks Yuri if there is anything that she can afford. Yuri starts looking for something. After finding a book, she gives it to Mio. Mio takes a look and notices a braided cord. She finds it perfect and decides to make it. Before Kyoka leaves for work, she asks his permission to go out with Yuri this afternoon. Kyoka agrees, but he tells her to not get lost or follow any strangers. And to make sure she is protected, he gives her an amulet. He tells her to keep it with herself whenever she goes outside. Mio promises she will. In the afternoon, Mio and Yuri are selecting a color for the braided cord. On seeing a purple color, she finds it perfect and selects it. After buying it, on the way home, Yuri suddenly remembers she has to buy salt for the house. So she tells Mio to stay here for some time, while she goes to buy it. After Yuri leaves, within a few seconds later, Mio has an unexpected encounter with Kaya and Koji. She is terrified. On seeing Mio all by herself, Kaya thinks Kyoka has kicked her out of the house and now she has no place to go. And because of it, she starts making fun of her. Koji tries to stop Kaya, but she won't. Kaya expresses how glad she is to see Mio in this miserable condition. But as a good stepsister, Kaya promises to give her some coins as she begs in front of her. Just then, Yuri comes. Kaya misinterprets that she is Mio's colleague. But Yuri clarifies she is Mio's servant. Kaya is in disbelief. Yuri bids them goodbye and takes Mio home. On the other side, Kyoka arrives at the Saimori residence. He gets straight to the point. He wants to officially engage Mio and later marry her. On hearing this, both Shin and Kanoko are in shock. Kyoka proceeds to tell them that he knows all about the terrible things they have done to Mio. Despite it, he doesn't mind giving the dowry, only if the whole family sincerely apologizes to Mio face to face. But if they don't, then alongside not giving dowry, he will completely cut off the ties with them. Shin requests for some time to think. Kyoka agrees, but he won't wait for long. Outside the house, Koji and Kaya arrive. On the way, When she sees Kyoka, she is completely stunned by his beauty. After some time, Kyoka arrives home. He looks at Mio and asks if something is wrong. Mio assures him everything is fine. Later, Yuri shares that ever since meeting her stepsister, Mio has been acting this way. Later, Kyoka tries his best to make sure Mio opens up to him, but no matter what he says, Mio doesn't talk and stays in her room. Kyoka starts to wonder how he can give confidence to Mio. A few days later, Mio has completed the gift, but she doesn't have the courage to give it to Kyoka. Just then, she has an unexpected guest. It's Mio's former servant, Hana. When Mio was very little, Hana was her maid. During the time when Shin had distanced himself and Kanoko beat and scolded Mio, Hana was the only one to comfort her. But one day, when Kanoko locked Mio in the storeroom, Hana tried her best to stop them. However, as expected, she was fired immediately. All this time Mio was worried for Hana's well-being, and now seeing her in front of her, she is very emotional and happy for her. Hana asks Mio if is she doing well. Mio gets emotional. For someone who doesn't even possess spirit sight, she doesn't find herself a worthy wife for someone as kind as Kyoka. Hana calms her down. She tells Mio it's Kyoka who invited her here. He knows everything about her past, as well as about her lack of supernatural ability. Mio is surprised to hear it. She can't believe all this time Kyoka knew about it. After encountering Kaya, Mio again remembered her worthlessness, and started wondering how a prominent person like Kyoka could accept a wife who possessed zero supernatural abilities. Now she feels miserable for assuming such things. Mio gathers her courage and goes to Kyoka. She confesses that she doesn't have any ability, and all her life she lived as a servant in her own house. She didn't tell him because she feared he would abandon her. And now, as a punishment for hiding it, if he wants her to leave, she will. But before she goes, she wants to gift this braid. Kyoka hugs Mio and asks what she wants. Does she want to live with him? Mio cries and expresses she wants to be with him. Kyoka is happy to hear it. He requests her to tie this braid. Mio ties it, and it's looking beautiful. Kyoka promises he'll treasure it. Afterwards, Mio thanks Hana for coming here. She tells her to take care and bids her goodbye. On the other side, Minoru all this time has been spying on them. On seeing the situation, he is getting frustrated. He doesn't want to lose Mio at any cost and is ready to take any necessary step to obtain her. The following day, the kimono finally arrives. Mio is very happy knowing it's Kyoka who chose the color. On the other side, Minoru reveals to Kaya that her stepsister is getting along with Kyoka and that she is really enjoying her time in Kudo's house. Kaya looks at the picture and is surprised to see that the person she saw a few days ago is Mio's fiancé. Kaya is furious to see her worthless sister have a better-looking husband. She is planning to ask her father to cancel the engagement, and instead of Mio, let her marry Kyoka. Kaya is confident about it because her father always gives her what she asks him. Minoru is glad to see everything is going as per his plan. On the other side, as per Mio's request, Kyoka and Goto are heading home for dinner. For driving Hana to her home, Mio wants to show her gratitude to Goto by preparing a meal. After some time, they arrive. Seeing Mio in the new kimono, Kyoka is not able to take his eyes off her and compliments how gorgeous she is looking. Upon hearing this, Mio starts blushing. In the house, as the dinner begins, Goto is enjoying the meal. After pouring some juice, Mio bows down and thanks Goto for spending his precious time helping Hana get to her home. Goto holds Mio's hand and requests her to dump the captain and marry him. Because no one has ever said such kind words to him. Kyoka is pissed. Goto quickly apologizes that he is only joking. However, Mio takes it seriously and apologizes to Goto that Kyoka is the only person she wants to be with. After dinner, Goto goes home. Back in Saimori's house, no matter how much Kaya requests she wants to marry Kyoka, Shin refuses and tells her he doesn't want to talk about anything related to Mio anymore. The next day, Koji on his way, sees a bunch of strangers getting inside a car in front of his house. He goes inside the house and on seeing Kaya there, he asks what she is doing here. Kaya asks Koji if he wants to marry Mio. Koji says it's not possible anymore. Kaya tells him to not worry about it because she has a plan. Suspecting they are planning something bad, Koji demands what is it. Kaya shares that they are going to make Mio withdraw from the marriage arrangement. Koji is worried about it. After Kaya takes her leave, he asks his father why no one thinks about Mio's happiness. Minoru, being the head of this family, wants to make sure the lineage will thrive. And to make it happen, he doesn't care if someone else's happiness is taken away. Koji starts to get furious. Using his power, he attacks his father, but Minoru's power is much stronger and quickly overpowers him. After tying Koji, Minoru gets in his car and leaves. Back in the house, Kazushi, the first son, enters the room. He doesn't like how their father does things, and that's why after hearing the conversation, he has decided to help Koji. He unties the rope and tells him to go and protect what matters to him. On the other side, Mio is planning to deliver a lunch she has prepared for Kyoka. After getting ready, she carries a new pouch and leaves. However, she ends up forgetting about the amulet which was kept in a different pouch. After some time, Mio and Yuri arrive at the office and give the lunchbox to Kyoka. Kyoka takes it. It's hot outside, so he insists them to rest inside. But both of them assure him they are fine. Before they leave, Kyoka asks about the amulet. Mio assures him she has it. Kyoka is glad to know it. He tells both of them to safely go back home. After he leaves, Mio realizes she left the amulet in the old pouch. On the way home, a car suddenly stops in front and two invisible men grabs and throws Mio inside the car. Yuri tries her best, but in the end, the kidnappers escape. She rushes to the office and tells Kyoka about what happened. Kyoka is devastated to realize something like this happened while Mio had the amulet, but he soon finds out Mio forgot to carry it. Just then, Koji comes requesting for help. After Koji reveals who is behind Mio's kidnapping, both of them immediately head to the location. On the other side, Mio wakes up and finds herself tied up in a room. Soon, Kaya and Kanoko enter. It's the storeroom where Mio used to be locked in. Kanoko shows her frustration. She is pissed to see a worthless being like Mio is enjoying herself when instead, it should be her daughter. She orders Mio to reject the marriage proposal or her new kimono will be ruined. Kaya promises that once she marries Kyoka, she will give Koji back to her, and everyone will be happy. But to their surprise, for the first time Mio refuses. In anger, Kaya cuts the kimono. She tells Mio to give up and accept their demand, or this time it'll be something else that will get cut. Mio knows that giving up is the easiest option. But she doesn't want to give up this time. So she again refuses that she won't reject the marriage proposal. Kanoko in anger slaps her. Afterwards, Kaya cuts the ropes and reminds Mio that she is worthless, who neither has spirit sight nor any other ability. A person like Kyoka deserves a better wife. Mio gathers her courage and says that she will never give up Kyoka, because she wants to be with him. Kanoko gets furious and starts beating Mio. She furiously asks, "Is this how you repay to the person who has raised you?" If this situation had happened before meeting Kyoka, Mio would have easily agreed to their demands. However, now she has changed. Now she will never give up on the person who has given her confidence. Outside the house, Kyoka and Koji have arrived. No matter how many times Koji knocks, no one is opening the door. Kyoka had enough of waiting. He uses his powers and makes the way himself. Kyoka demands Mio's location. But Minoru makes it clear, Mio won't be returning. With them not telling anything about Mio's location, Kyoka just goes to search by himself. However, Minoru comes in the way. Shin asks Minoru what's happening. Minoru tells him he will explain later, but if now, they don't stop Kyoka, then the house will be destroyed just like the front gate. To stop Kyoka, both of them use their power. But Kyoka easily breaks it. Minoru is getting desperate. He becomes aggressive and manipulates the wind to attack, but against Kyoka they are nothing. Koji is amazed to witness how his father is nothing against Kyoka's abilities. Back in the storeroom, both Kaya and Kanoko are wondering why these noises are coming from outside. No matter how much they beat and abuse, Mio won't give in. Outside, as Kyoka and Koji are on the way, Minoru without any care uses extreme fire on them. Kyoka easily blocks it. However, as expected, the output released by Minoru is too much, and the fire gets spread throughout the mansion. Kyoka this time just knocks him down. Back in the storeroom, Kaya starts choking Mio. She is getting desperate to get what she wants. Mio starts to remember that all her time in the house, she wanted to end her suffering by dying. That's what she always thought. But a certain person changed everything for her. She wants to be next to him. And no matter what, she will not reject the proposal. Finally, Kyoka arrives. On seeing Mio, he rushes toward her and holds her in his arms. Mio, on seeing him, finally has a relief. Kanoko checks the situation outside and is devastated. Kyoka asks Kaya what she was trying to achieve. Like a spoiled girl, Kaya clarifies that she isn't at any fault. She was only trying to correct a mistake. Mio doesn't have any ability. But on the other side, she is the best. Her parents always tell her she is better than Mio. So it's obvious that she has to be the one marrying him. Kyoka shuts her up. He asks how she assumed he would choose such an arrogant woman as his bride. Carrying Mio, Kyoka heads home. On one side, where one problem has been solved, on the other side, another problem has fallen upon Kyoka and Mio. The Emperor is furious to know Minoru has failed to acquire Yusuba's blood. He cannot let Kyoka Kudo marry Mio, or else they will be a threat to him. The following day, Mio wakes up and finds Kyoka sleeping next to him. She tries to get up but her body is in pain, so Kyoka helps her. She once again thanks him for saving her. Yuri, on seeing Mio has finally woken up, just burst into tears. Mio asks if everyone escaped safely from Saimori's house. Kyoka assures her they all are safe, but the house is completely burned up. Mio is sad to hear it. She requests if she can visit Saimori's house for one last time. Kyoka agrees, and after some time they arrive. Mio is devastated to witness the condition. Kyoka shares that Shin along with his wife and servants are moving to their villa in the countryside. Even though Minoru is to be blamed, his involvement hasn't been made public. However, in return, the eldest son, Kazushi, will become the head of the family. On seeing her mother's cherry blossom tree completely burned down, Mio is emotional. As she touches it, a light comes, and soon after the remaining tree just becomes dust. After some time, they both walk home. On the way, Koji greets them. He requests if he can talk to Mio for a minute. Kyoka agrees. In private, Mio shows her gratitude. She heard from Kyoka that Koji was a huge help in finding her location. But Koji doesn't feel that way. If he could be as strong as Kyoka, he would have stopped his father before things became worse. He tells Mio that, as a punishment, Kaya is going to serve as a maid in a villa with strict owners. And he is moving to the old capital to train his abilities. He wants to become strong so the next time he can protect what is precious to him. He bids goodbye to Mio and leaves. Back at home, Mio and Kyoka officially become each other's fiancés. And on knowing she will soon going to be Kyoka's wife, she starts blushing. But she also understands that before becoming wife, she wants to act like a proper lady. So to become one, she requests Kyoka if she can take the lessons. Kyoka agrees, and to help her in learning lessons, he will invite his older sister as a teacher. Mio is very happy. On seeing Kyoka, she starts blushing. Her face becomes so red that Kyoka begins to worry if she has a fever. But Mio in panic assures everything is fine. The next day, Kyoka's elder sister, Hazuki, arrives. Mio thanks Hazuki for taking the time to come and give her lessons. Hazuki is so impressed by Mio that she can't help but give a tight hug. Seeing how adorable she is, Hazuki wants to take Mio to her house. But Kyoka, who is eavesdropping on them, immediately enters the room and refuses. He won't let it happen. Hazuki calms down Kyoka that she won't, because if she did then he will get lonely. Hazuki believes it's better to have a clear goal in mind before starting the lessons. A party is coming up 2 months from now, and it will be a great way for Mio to show her progress in it. On hearing it's in 2 months, Mio doubts if she can even learn it. Hazuki assures Mio she is already well-mannered, so she will learn lessons in very little time. After Hazuki wraps up for the day, Mio tries reviewing the lessons by herself. At night, Kyoka suddenly wakes up after sensing a supernatural ability. He rushes to Mio's room and finds her having a nightmare. He holds her hand and soon Mio starts to calm down. Kyoka is in deep thought, wondering who might be using the ability. The barrier around the house hasn't been broken and no outsider came in except his sister. He decides to look further into it. The scene shifts amid the forest. A bunch of people in strange outfits are chanting a prayer. Soon after, a large rock that appears to be a grave shatters and multiple grotesqueries start coming out. The next day, Kyoka along with General Masashi and Kazushi are called up by the Highness. They go inside a room, where the Emperor's son, Takahito, is sitting. He has an ability known as Revelation that allows him to see if any future calamity is upon the country. Because the Emperor is in an ill state, he will discuss the matter about the breaking of the seal. He shares that deep in the Forbidden Land, there lies a burial ground for those people who possess supernatural abilities. It's here that those spirits who seek revenge transform into grotesqueries. And to prevent their escape they are sealed away. However, last night the seal was forcefully broken and a huge number of grotesqueries are on the loose. If they are not eliminated, his revelation reveals to him that this country is in grave danger. After finishing up as they are about to leave, Takahito stops Kyoka. He shares another revelation, where Kyoka and his fiancée are going to face a lot of difficulties. Kyoka is worried to know it. He promises to stay mindful of it. The scene shifts to Kudo's house, where Hazuki's lessons are in progress. During it, Mio learns to wear Western clothes, trying to keep her back straight and also how to have a smile. As their lessons continue, day by day Mio starts making progress. By spending time with Hazuki, Mio starts to understand her and appreciate her personality. In the office, Kyoka is worried about remembering Takahito's words. He connects that the nightmares Mio is having are related to this revelation. Knowing Yusuba's ability to interfere with others' minds, he believes one of their members is probably behind it. And as per his instructions, an informant shares that strangely there are no other people named Yusuba in this country other than Mio's mother. Kyoka tells him to gather any information that are related to Mio's mother. He wants to get to the root of Mio's problems, as he cannot bear to see her suffering from these nightmares. The next day, A messenger from the Ministry of the Imperial House, Arata Tsuruki, comes to share the information about the grotesqueries. Arata shares that those people who unsealed the tomb were found collapsed near it. They have been arrested, but because they haven't gained consciousness, as a result their objectives aren't known. As of now, nearly 20% of the grotesqueries have been retrieved. However, the ministry lacks enough people to retrieve the rest, and they want the help of special unit. Kyoko with a suspicious tone asks why a person who is not a ministry staff is here delivering the message. Arata compliments Kyoko for knowing this. He shares he runs a trading company and has a lot of experience doing negotiations with various business partners. And because he shares a long-term relationship with the emperor, he decided to come as a negotiator. After negotiating, the scene shifts at night, where Kyoko and other members of the special unit have come to investigate the situation. Those who were accused of unsealing are being taken care because they were the first ones to come in contact with grotesquerie, and thus they have been cursed. Kazushi is here to undo the curse, so the suspects can be interrogated about their objective. However, as he uses his powers, he senses a strong presence, which is more than he can handle. In the forest, Kyoko and others are suddenly attacked by the horde of grotesqueries. Everyone uses their powers to eliminate them. On the other side, Mio is having another nightmare, where she is somewhere dark, and a horde of grotesqueries are attacking her. She wakes from the nightmare and finds herself crying. In the afternoon, she is with Yuri and Hazuki outside trying to practice the way a lady walks. However, she seems weak and exhausted. And suddenly she collapses. But before hitting the ground, Arata saves her. Mio gains consciousness and apologizes for bothering him. Arata assures her it's not a big deal. After bidding her goodbye, he leaves. At home, Mio has some rest. Since the grotesqueries are on the loose, Kyoko has been working a lot, and as a result, he is not able to spend time with Mio. The next morning, Mio wakes up from another nightmare. Ever since she fainted in the town, Hazuki has stopped giving lessons as she believes it's better for Mio to rest for a few days. The scene shifts to Kyoko's workplace, where after hearing the recent attack on a person, and how close the grotesqueries have come to the Imperial City, Kyoko is planning to initiate a large-scale search and hunt operation. And to ask the ministry's permission, General Masashi will take care of it. At night, Mio joins Kyoko for a cup of tea. Kyoko apologizes for not being able to stay next to her because of the work. He asks if anything is troubling her. Mio refuses there isn't. Kyoko holds her hand and asks if she is feeling lonely. At first, Mio immediately refuses. But after Kyoko expresses how much he misses her, Mio confesses she also misses him. Kyoko hugs her and tells her to be more selfish. If she is feeling sad, then tell him. If she is feeling lonely, then tell him. He wants to know about her so he can support her. While being emotional, Mio nods that she will. The scene shifts to the next day, where a stranger knocks on the door. The stranger is Arata. He has come to meet Kyoko thinking he has a day off, but he soon gets to know that because of how busy Kyoko is, he is at his workplace. After Arata introduces himself, Mio does the same. But he tells her he doesn't need her introduction because she is the talk of the city. After all, she is the woman who Kyoka Kudo has chosen. But as rumor goes for him being cruel, he is definitely living up to his name. Mio asks what does he mean by it. Arata shows his frustration over Kyoka for not taking care of his fiancée when she has gotten so pale and weak that she is collapsing in the middle of the town. Mio pulls her hand away and refuses. Kyoka isn't cruel at all. Suddenly Mio starts to feel a bit dizzy. Arata apologizes for being rude. He gives his business card in case there is anything he can help with, and takes his leave. After arriving at Kyoka's office, he relays that the ministry has given the permission to commence the large-scale operation. After sharing the details in the meeting, Arata takes his leave. On his way, he tells Kyoka how he went to his house by mistake, and there he met his fiancée. Arata reminds Kyoka that Mio is the best fiancé any man could dream of. But seeing how pathetically he is treating Mio makes him furious. Kyoka with a serious look demands what he means by it. Arata tells how he saved Mio from collapsing, and how Mio's face and body have become worse since then. For Arata, Kyoka doesn't know the true value of Mio, and he doesn't deserve her when he prioritizes his work over her. After saying this, he leaves. At night, the informant calls Kyoka and shares a surprising information. He reveals that Sumi Yusuba is actually registered with a different family name. And it's Sumi Tsuruki. Hearing it, Kyoka immediately realizes it's the same family name as Arata. Upon arriving at the home, he searches for Mio and finds her standing in front of the stove in a very weak condition. He asks why she is hiding things from him. Why she didn't tell him that she collapsed in the middle of the day. Kyoka tells her that he also knows she is having nightmares. He asks if he is not someone she can trust. Mio immediately refuses. He is so busy and tired from work that she didn't want it to bother him. Gyoka tells her, it's her who is tired. If he had known she would become this weak, he shouldn't have given her the chance to study. But Gyoka soon realizes, his words were harsh and it made Mio cry. Soon, Mio collapses. Gyoka scolds himself for saying such a harsh thing. To end Mio's suffering, he takes Mio and heads to the house where Erita is residing. After arriving at the mansion, Mio soon gains consciousness and decides to walk by herself. Upon going further inside, Gyoka is surprised to see a cherry blossom tree in the middle of summer. Erita comes and welcomes both of them to the Yusuba's family residence. It's revealed that he is Mio's cousin. Gyoka asks if any of Yusuba's family members are behind Mio's nightmare. Erita replies, kind of. It's true that Yusuba's ability is behind the nightmares. But the one causing them is Mio herself. Her supernatural ability is causing the nightmares. Mio refuses it's not possible because she doesn't even possess spirit sight. Erita calmly answers that it's true, seeing spirit is the minimum requirement to check if a person will acquire any ability or not. However, in Yusuba's family, it's not uncommon. Matter of fact, he also cannot see spirits. Soon the head of Yusuba's family, Yoshiro, joins them. He is Sumi's father, meaning Mio's grandfather. They go inside the house to have further conversations. Because of Yusuba's barrier, just by sitting, Mio starts to feel better. Gyoka gets straight to the point and asks the way he can end Mio's nightmare. Erita proposes a condition, in return for telling him the way. He wants Gyoka to break his engagement, and turn over Mio to this family. Gyoka asks them why they haven't approached her before. Hoshiro replies, it's because no one thought that Mio would develop any ability at such an old age. However, now seeing she has developed, and on top, it's a rare one, they cannot let any family to have this power. Mio's ability is called Dream Sight. It's an ability to intervene and manipulate anyone's dream. To prevent any calamities, Mio will stay here. And to avoid any risk, she will not be allowed to go outside ever again. Gyoka makes it clear that they will not take away Mio from him. But Erita doesn't want to hear from someone who is an outsider. He wants Gyoka to agree to their proposal and leave. But no matter what, Gyoka is not ready to agree to their terms. He promises to protect her. On hearing this, Erita laughs. He finds it pathetic hearing from someone who can't even prevent Mio from getting kidnapped, and without Yusuba, he can't even stop Mio's nightmares. Gyoka will not give up on Mio. If they don't tell him, he will find a solution on his own. The way the conversation is going, no one will come to a conclusion, so Erita asks Mio what she wants, where she wants to stay. Surprisingly, Mio replies she doesn't know. Gyoka is devastated to hear it. The reason Mio said this is because she cannot see Gyoka in worry and taking burden because of her. Now, with Mio choosing nothing, Erita proposes to have a duel, with the winner taking Mio. And if Gyoka wins, he will also tell him how to end Mio's nightmares. Gyoka agrees. They go outside, and Erita declares it to be a serious fight. The fight begins. He starts shooting, but Gyoka dodges the bullet and charges at him, with swiftness. He lands an attack, but it's just an illusion. With a surprise attack, Gyoka ends up getting injured. But when Erita again tries to use his illusion technique, Gyoka has already adapted. Erita brings out smoke and creates multiple clones. Gyoka finds it lame and releases his power. Seeing the output, Erita is amazed to see if a person like him goes out of control, no one will be able to stop him. One by one, Gyoka take out the clones. Erita again creates clones. But this time, Gyoka uses fire. As he is about to land the final blow, Mio comes in front, however, it's only an illusion. With it, Erita wins the duel. As Mio runs towards Gyoka, Erita uses his power and teleports him to his house. Later in the day, Hazuki is angry at Gyoka upon finding out about the situation. She doesn't care about the result, and tells Gyoka to bring back her Mio. But Gyoka doesn't think it's the right thing to do. He shares how Mio wasn't sure if she wanted to come here or not. Hazuki beats him, and tells him that knowing Mio's personality, she only said that because she doesn't want him to worry. And if she doesn't want to be with him, why in the first place she would try to become a proper lady for him? In this world, the only person she has is him. And if he also abandons her, she will again lose her confidence. Just then a call comes. Gyoka is notified about an emergency where many people have lost their lives after coming in contact with grotesqueries. As of now, Mio is safe in Yusuba's family. So Gyoka promises Hazuki that once he is done eliminating all of the grotesqueries, he will bring back Mio without fail. The scene shifts to Yusuba's residence, where Mio is sad thinking about Gyoka. Erita assures her he is fine and like a pathetic fiancé. Instead of coming to take her, he has chosen his work. Erita shares that what he told Gyoka about her ability was only a small part. Mio's ability is much more powerful than that. Because every human needs to sleep, She can walk inside anyone's dream and can completely brainwash them. And on top, by entering someone's dream she can even view their past and future, with no limits. Mio asks why her ability wasn't been awakened until now. Hoshiro enters the room and shares it's because Sumi sealed her abilities at a very young age. Hoshiro finally reveals the reason why Sumi had to marry Shin Saimori, and why she had to seal off her daughter's abilities. We go back 20 years ago, when Yusuba's family, which was running under the name of Tsurugi Trading Company, started performing poorly, and was inching close to bankruptcy. On top of all this, there was already a huge debt. This is when Saimori sent a marriage proposal. In return for paying off all the debt and helping Tsurugi Trading Company to get financially stable, they wanted Sumi to marry into their family. Obviously, Hoshiro was against it. He didn't want to give away Yusuba's blood to any other family and rejected the offer. However, one day without his knowledge, Sumi accepted the marriage proposal. Hoshiro was furious and scolded her for the stupidness. But Sumi knew that in order to make sure the Yusuba family survives this crisis, she must marry Shin Saimori. And soon after her marriage, Hoshiro in anger completely cut off ties with his daughter and never talked since then. This is something he still regrets. Hoshiro takes Mio in front of the cherry blossom tree and tells her to touch it, to find out the reason her mother sealed off her ability. Mio touches it and a light comes out. She goes into the past and witnesses that from the very beginning, the marriage was just a way to have a baby with Yusuba's blood so Saimori could rise in power. After giving birth to Mio, Sumi touched her head and found out about her ability. Sumi knew that if this power got into anyone's hands, they would definitely misuse it, and ruin her daughter's life by turning her into a tool to get their things done. To protect Mio, she sealed Mio's ability inside the cherry blossom tree. Sumi knew Mio would have to endure sadness and hardships. But she also believed that one day when the right time comes, Mio would receive all the happiness she deserves. After 2 years, when Shin found out Mio still doesn't possess even spirit sight, he refused to accept her as his daughter, no matter how much Sumi begged him. Sumi's health was fragile. And that's why Shin's father wanted him to have another baby with her before she dies. However, only a few months later, Sumi passed away. Back in present, Mio is emotional about seeing the past. The next morning, Mio finally has a nightmare-free sleep. As the days pass by, on one side Kyoka is eliminating the grotesqueries, and on the other side, Mio's health is improving. However, her regret of not being by Kyoka's side is only getting stronger. She knows it's her fault for messing up, but she wants to meet him and tell him what she truly wanted. However, Arata in no condition will allow her to leave this house, not even for a single day. As a member of Yusuba, it's his duty to protect Mio and her abilities. At night, Kyoka and others start celebrating, thinking they finally defeated all of the grotesqueries. However, there is still one remaining. As Goto is about to be attacked, Kyoka manages to save him and eliminate the grotesquerie. However, he ends up getting cursed. And soon, he goes unconscious. The following day, Mio is yet again persistently requesting her grandfather to let her meet Kyoka, even if it's just for once. Seeing how stubborn she is, Hoshiro is reminded of his daughter. He takes Mio in front of the cherry blossom tree and tells her to touch it for the final time. Mio touches it, and sees her mother standing in front of her. Sumi expresses how much she loves her, and for the final time, she bids her goodbye. With it, the seal is completely broken and Mio receives all of her abilities back. Just then Arata comes in panic and shares that Kyoka has been cursed by the grotesquerie. Mio tries to go, but Arata stops her. He can't let her go because he made a deal with the Emperor. In return for helping the Yusuba family, he wanted Mio to not contact any other person with supernatural ability. Arata doesn't know the reason, but if he disobeys it, the Emperor will not only punish Yusuba's family but also Mio. Hoshiro tells Arata it's fine. As Mio's family, they will no longer agree to the Emperor's demands and will support Mio in her decisions. Arata holds Mio's hand and tells her he will also accompany her. As his brother, he must protect her. After wearing her kimono, Mio arrives at the hospital and holds Kyoka's hand. Using Dream Sight, Mio can cure the curse, but Arata isn't sure if it'll definitely work. Mio decides to give it a shot. She lies next to Kyoka. Now she will leave her body and her soul will enter into Kyoka's. Once entered, Mio has to find his soul. Everyone wishes her the best. And with it, Mio closes her eyes and after some time, finds herself lying in Saimori's house. On the other side, Kyoka is somewhere amidst a forest, fighting the grotesqueries. No matter how many he defeats, there is no end to them. While dodging the attacks, he ends up getting hurt and his braided cord falls. Despite being badly hurt, Kyoka keeps on fighting the grotesqueries, because he doesn't want to die here. He wants to find Mio and apologize for hurting her, and for making her cry. Back in Saimori's house, Mio sees someone running. She follows it and ends up in a room filled with water. A large door appears. She enters it, and finds her clone standing in front. The clone shows her disgust towards Mio, saying a woman like her can never be good enough for Kyoka and she deserves to be alone. After everything Kyoka did for her, she still refused his kindness and hurt him. And now he is on the brink of his death. Everyone who comes close to her only leads to misfortune. Mio agrees that she indeed is a failure, who hurt Kyoka. She also thought she was not good enough to be with him. However, she doesn't think so anymore. It's not because she now has her ability, it's because she wants to be selfish. She wants to forever live with the person who gave her the confidence to live. The clone becomes furious and attacks Mio. She furiously demands, why don't you just give up? It's always the easiest option. But Mio refuses, she won't anymore. With it, a light comes showing that Mio has won her inner battle. The clone wishes Mio the best, and she transforms into the braided cord. Mio comes to Kyoka's rescue. Using her powers, she creates a powerful barrier that takes down the horde of grotesqueries. But there are still a lot of them remaining. Somewhere inside a cave, the Emperor enters. It's revealed that he is the one who ordered the unsealment of the tomb. And now he has come here to get rid of both Kyoka and Mio. He uses his powers and combines all the grotesqueries into one. As the Emperor initiates the attack, Mio holds Kyoka's hand and unleashes a powerful attack that eliminates the grotesqueries along with knocking down everyone in the cave. With it, both of them win. Mio ties the braided cord. She apologizes for saying something she never truly meant. The truth is, she loves him and wants to live with him forever. Kyoka also apologizes. In anger, he said something so cruel that hurt her. Both of them forgive each other and give a tight hug. Soon after, they gain consciousness. Everyone is very emotional and happy to see both of them are safe. On seeing Arita leaving, Mio shows her gratitude for bringing her here. But she can't return to Yusuba's family. Arita understands it. He can see her happiness, and as her family, he wishes her the best. The next morning, after knowing the Emperor was behind the unsealing of the tomb, he is removed from the throne. And Takahito is enthroned as the new Emperor. On the other side at Kudo's house, both of them arrive after a long time. 7 days later, it's the day of the social gathering. Mio in a white dress is looking gorgeous. Kyoka holds her hand and both of them walk toward a new chapter of their life. If you enjoyed the recap, please consider liking and subscribing this channel. Have a wonderful day ahead.